This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Colorado Springs, Colorado. We're at Sunset Buildings. For over 10 years, they've been involved in this industry of Colorado's leading garage builder. Relocating here from another state, you founded the company here. Share with me a little bit about what it is that got you involved in this type of industry.
Well, I grew up I enjoyed using my hands, loved building. My wife's real mechanical herself too, so we were in Montana and we bought a truck, and I believe, having that truck, it just inspired us to start building some stuff. So
excellent. Let me ask you this. My father always said a guy never has enough storage room, and quite honestly, are those the kind of folks that you're able to help here with some great sheds?
Absolutely. It's a big need that just seems to never go away. If you have a big garage, you fill it up, you need another garage, they're on from that. So definitely.
Wonderful. As an owner, are you always pretty much researching the industry, finding new ways to create great sheds, great garages, and you basically bring that back to the consumer, and it's a win-win situation?
Absolutely. I spend a lot of time doing research, buildings all the way across the country. We want to make sure that our buildings are some of the nicest that you'll find anywhere. So all the way from Texas to Northeast to the West Coast and California, we've seen how people do this business all across the board, just to make sure that we're doing it the best way we can.
Wonderful. We're sitting right now on a porch of basically what looks like a little miniature house. We're going to break down a little bit what it takes to put together a great shed. Let's start first of all. How important is a foundation? Let's begin there.
Absolutely important. I believe that's the most important thing. It's all important, but the foundations, I would definitely say that ours are the most rigid, toughest in the industry. We have steel options and wood options. You choose which one you want. Compared to our leading competitor that's all across the country, ours is very similar as far as the steel goes. We just use 30% more steel. A lot of things like that. Because we're in Colorado, a lot of things you have to beef up a little bit around here.
You got to be ready for the elements when they hit you here. Speaking of floors and foundations, are we talking about floor joists that are in the flooring to make sure you got good support? I mean, people do fill these things up.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of ours, like this one, you can see skids underneath the building. So those are pressure-treated skids that are made for ground contact. We put those under the building before we even start our floor, and that just lets the building air out. You can drain it, you can level it. Just makes it a tough floor. So the whole foundation's about 10 inches thick.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Like I said, kind of a mini house. Next thing, obviously, people are putting their valuables, their belongings inside here. We're in Colorado. Wind, snow, rain, you never know what's going to happen. Share with me what kind of materials you guys use for the roofs.
On the roofs, all of our sheds come standard with a lifetime architectural shingle. That's kind of where we start. Again, in Colorado, high winds and things like that. Rather than starting with like a 3-tab shingle, we kind of start with something that you need, but really whatever you need, all the way from slate to tile, whatever it is, we can match your house.
So you're going to take something and customize it based on what the client needs. Exactly. And either way, though, we're talking about something that's going to hold up to the elements of the wind.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that we look at there. We spend a lot of time with an engineer making sure that they're perfect for this area and that they're going to stand the test of time, and they're still affordable. We have the low end that's still a very nice, strong building, but then all the way to the things like the aspen siding on this one and the knotty alder door, and just
you name it. If somebody comes in with a vision of something they want, you guys put it together. Next part of a great shed, I would have to be, we're talking about doors. I mean, it's the one thing that gets used, I imagine. People are swinging them, and if we're not swinging them, the wind's swinging them. Share with me what goes into a great door.
A great door, for one, on a basic shed, this one's a little bit different because it's more like a house, but on most of our standard sheds, theft is a big deal, and you'll see so many sheds that have just butt hinges on the outside that you can just unscrew those hinges. Yeah. And all of ours have a continuous steel hinge that you'd actually physically have to be inside the building, so there's no access to that. So, you'd have to actually kick the door in or come in through the siding. It just makes it a little bit more difficult to break into the building for sure.
Speaking of that, security-wise, are we talking about locks on the doors or whatever we may want?
Yes. Every one of them come with a security lock. And we call our standard doors WSI door, and what that stands for is they're weather sealed, they're insulated, and the security. So those are three things that you typically don't see on a shed door. And again, this is a home door on this one, but most of them come with this WSI door that I'm talking about that's just a standard great door that you don't typically see on a...
So you said weather sealed, insulated. What about sheds? If a person wants the whole entire shed insulated, is that something you're able to do? Do people ever put heat inside of them, or is that not the norm?
Oh, they sure do. They get creative with them. We're actually doing a cat house / dog house right now that is just every bit as nice as this one. So electricity to the whole works. I mean, so your standard basic shed that's very affordable to something that the Broadmoor would purchase, you know.
Wow, that is impressive. Obviously, sheds is what you're well known for, but quite honestly, you're moving into some custom garage work now. You guys are able to put garages together pretty much just like the sheds. Share with me a little bit, what is different about when you assemble a garage versus that of a shed?
Well, the garages, they're all built on site. Where the walls are assembled here, the garages are completely built on site. We're Southern Colorado's largest garage builder, and so we do a lot of buildings. We did about 500 buildings last year, and the garages that we do are all the way from your basic garage to, we recently just did one downtown Colorado Springs that was matching a home built in the 1800s, and the whole entire goal was to make it look exactly like that home built in the 1800s. And you know, if you drive by it, you'd never know. Just stuccoed everything. It's just, you know, gorgeous.
A perfect match to what's around it. You mentioned earlier here about basically building on site. That's got to be kind of important when you're talking about a backyard that maybe you've got a fence around or whatever. You guys are able to get in, do the work without having to rip things apart.
Absolutely, it is important. It takes us a little bit more time to do that, but it's worth it, that challenge of getting there and having it all assembled there.
Wonderful. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you're going to get a clearer idea of a lot of the services they provide for you out there. We're talking about, quite honestly, any exterior building these guys can put together for you. We're talking about sheds, be it a basic small little doghouse, all the way up to something huge that you could stick a probably yacht inside of, huh?
Absolutely, yep.
Wow, that is great. And check out right there, you can also build a quote right online. Check it out, build a quote. If you can't understand it, these guys are just a phone call away. Basically, give them a call. They started out of state here. They're now in Colorado, serving pretty much Pueblo, Colorado Springs, the whole entire Front Range area here, and putting together a great quality shed because, like we said, you can never have enough storage, and you want to make sure that it's well protected. Like I said before, I'm sitting on a porch here of a shed, but quite honestly, it feels like a home. Share with me a little bit about your staff. What kind of qualifications do you provide for folks out there?
We have a great construction manager that's been with us for many years now, and he's just been a blessing. Really, I could go on about every one of our guys, and that's what's a little bit different about us too, is that we have employees that are trained and have been here for some time. We don't subcontract like many do. We do on some things, like on a garage, we might subcontract the concrete, but all of our employees do all the building, all the framing, everything like that, so we can keep our building standards consistent. And we're home builders too. We carry home builder's license, we're commercial builders as well. And so even though these guys have, some of them have so much experience, you still get the same quality in like a doghouse as you would in, you know, some of the larger spec homes we'll build.
Wonderful. Let me ask you one last thing here. If a person is wanting to put a shed in the backyard, what kind of turnaround time would you like to have that it's done properly?
It's actually very quickly, usually within 2 weeks. If you come in from the design process to everything, there's some buildings here that we can have out there almost the next day or a couple days. But you know, a building like this, typically the whole entire process might be a week to 2 weeks before it's completely built. Once we actually start the building process, it's only about 2 days on even a building like this.
Impressive. That's a great turnaround. And obviously, if folks have possibly a storage shed they have out there they need moved, you guys able to help them there as well?
Yeah, we sure do. We're one of the only ones that are really equipped, that have all the right equipment to move sheds. We probably have about close to $100,000 invested into just shed moving type equipment. So that's important to do it the right way, permits to everything you need to do. So demolition to, if you have an old building there, we can get rid of it, to hauling it out, or just moving a shed for you across town just because you want to take your shed and move it elsewhere.
Wonderful. Once again, take a look there. We're talking about Sunset Buildings right here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. They have been serving really in this industry over a decade. Basically, check out their website there. Phone contact has at the bottom of the screen right there. You need some extra storage. You need a place to put a car, a yacht, you name it, even your dog or puppy. These guys are going to do it for you. This is Gary Atencia with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.